Folks, this is Spoilerin time, not Cordkillers. Cordkillers is a different show done by myself and Brian Brushwood about watching television. This is Spoilerin time, where we actually talk about the shows we've watched. And this week, we're going to talk about Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency 2016, Episode 9 of Season 2, and Counterpart, Episode 9 of Season 2. Or you might call it season last. I'm Tom Merritt. He's Brian Brushwood.
Yeah, man. Breaking news that we both missed today, but Counterpart is not coming back. So we'll be talking about the final season.
We didn't miss it. We just said it.
We
made it news.
Oh, there we go. It wasn't
right
news.
now.
It used to be a fact, but now it's news.
That's right. Counterpart, at least on Stars, not getting a third season. But let's start by pretending we care about the summer winter movie draft.
Yeah, no, movie draft. Ha.
I actually care about the summer.
Yeah, man. No new news. John Checker still a big pile of winter. Just rubbing it in our face. He's gonna run away with $100 million ahead of us.
But what about this email from Daryl G about the fact that he has always heard us refer to the domestic gross, or at least often refer to the domestic gross as U.S. only. And being a Canadian, he thought, well, okay, it's just U.S. only. But he looked up Box Office Mojo and found that domestic gross includes Canadian numbers.
Yeah.
Not just U.S. numbers. And he's very happy about it.
Well, and of course, part of the reason that we do that is the rules change. If you go international, then all of a sudden, you know, there's a reason a lot of these movies are made with specific set pieces and big visuals, because they know that they'll do well internationally, whether it's a good or bad movie. Like, part of the game is being plugged into the cultural gestalt of North America, and so that's what we know, and that's what we speak. So that's the way we do it.
Yeah, I think he was just excited that, like, hey, my Canadian movie dollars go into this. Now, it's still expressed in U.S. dollars, but yeah, if you're Canadian and you go see a movie, you are helping one of us win.
Yeah, thanks.
That's what it's all about. All right, let's talk about Counterpart. You can really tell that next week's the season and now possibly series finale, because this was a lot of, like, raising questions. I guess until the end, we got some action right there at the end.
Yeah, I am so glad to hear you say that, because I felt guilty that I'm just like, kind of a whole bunch of jack and crap happened during this. And I was like, except for the murder of, all of management.
Yeah, exactly. I really felt like, at one point before the show had ended, I was like, man, are we spinning our wheels here? Like, okay, Quail, does he love Claire? Does Claire love Quail? Like, we're still meditating on that. All right. And what is the difference? Who released the flu and who really is responsible? And then Myra just shows that she's always literally 2 steps ahead, has figured out, yes, I know they'll put me in a cage when I show up. I've planned for that. And walks upstairs and shoots everybody, leaving Zephram Cochrane as the only living of the original management team, and tells him, we're going to close the wall. Government shutdown of the wall between these worlds. No one's going to open it again. Go back to your world. Enjoy your Myra, who we haven't seen. That's going to be interesting if we get to see her next week. And that's it.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird that I kind of totally agree with Mira's plan. It seems like that's a good, healthy way to biologically make everything safe, or to stop the war.
It's sort of like, I absolutely don't agree with her methods of shooting everyone. Obviously, I wouldn't do that. But it shouldn't be that big of a deal, right? It should be something that they would come to the conclusion of, like, yeah, no, there was a flu and we're going to close our walls and never open them again. Like, it could be a one-sided deal. Now that we've gotten to this point, I'm thinking, well, why didn't they? Why would they keep them open?
Well, and the other weird part is, I wonder how much of my desire to see the wall shut down or closed up is an artifact of where we are right now, because there's you and your other and this perceived jealousy or whatever. It seems like 100 years from now, when they've drifted so far apart that there's no one person in one world that has an other or anything resembling an other, and that cities have been remade and changed. That at that point it's like, well, then yeah, keep the door open, I guess. But even then, well, I guess, or open more doors. Like, you either have to open.
Also, one of the only advantages that make sense to me that they've given is, well, if we have two worlds, we have twice the brain power to solve everything. Except they restrict technology between the two worlds, and also one of the worlds has significantly fewer people than the other one now.
Right. And also, man, it's been so long. Like, we've dealt with everybody who knows about the two worlds for so long. Like, am I right in remembering that early on they said that most people don't even know about the other world?
Yeah.
That's so crazy to me that we've gotten so far. Like, how do you keep that a secret when you got this many people all running around talking about the other world?
Yeah, well, especially now, right? Now that we've got, two Howards showing up on our side, running around, everybody shooting each other. Like, there's a lot of gas leak news in Berlin right now. Oh, that was a mugging, and those were all gas leaks blowing up. And pay no attention, folks. It's all fine.
The Emily Burton scene, did that do anything for you?
I wanted it to do more. Like, I was kind of excited to see them face off, and then it just fizzled for me.
It just made me sad for both of them. I didn't really feel much, and then I don't know, just kind of a bummer all around, And it's like,
I also feel like I was set up. Emily Silk is our Emily, right? Emily Burton, I think, is the Emily
right.
Prime. I was set up to think Emily Silk was awful, right? And then we meet her, and she's like, oh, she's actually the better Emily of the two, even though she sneaked around. So I kept waiting for something to show me like, no, we fooled you. She's really awful. And still seems like she's a pretty stand-up Emily.
Yeah. Yeah. And
maybe next week. I don't know.
That was also a fairly half-baked wearing a wire situation. Of
oh my gosh, yeah. I was like, no, Claire would know better. She would definitely not wear a wire. She's going to get caught. Like, the sort of like, I've done this sort of thing before. I'm like, really? Wear a wire into a situation where they're definitely going to notice you're wearing a wire?
Well, also,
because you're leaning and going, tell me the plan, please.
Trained from childhood to murder her other self, does so successfully, so careful that she doesn't get found out for years and years and years. And it does seem a little bit incongruent that she would be so sloppy all of a sudden.
Now, here's the other thing. I almost wish I hadn't heard the news that Counterpart has no longer been suspended, because apparently, according to the Deadline article, the options on the actors expired, were extended to February 1st, and then that was that. That gives them enough time to have re-edited this to be a finale, right?
Oh, wild.
And so, and I wonder if he shot it with that in mind, possibly as a contingency, which... If this is a finale, like not a cliffhanger, not a Deadwood situation, but like, nope, this is it. This is the last one. We're done. It kind of makes sense that they would just close the doors. That's it. And these two worlds will never meet again.
I wonder if they'll do, if there's any chance of seeing like a Quantum Leap style ending. Because you heard the story about like the writers were so mad about the surprise cancellation because they didn't get a chance to wrap up the series. That's why at the end of Quantum Leap, it's got that weird text where like, so anyway, he jumped around a whole bunch, but he never made it home. The end. Like,
the end. Yeah. And
so anyway, they closed the doors and everybody, that was it.
I got one more thing on Counterpart before we wrap up. Do you have anything else?
No, just outside of, I'm ready. I'm ready for more, whatever more is.
Yeah. The one more thing that started to bug me, and this is not related to the production or the storytelling or anything. This is just me getting caught up in my own head. But I'm like, what's above the middle ground where they cross over?
Look, there's no shortage of. I would imagine.
I need some Escher style drawing that shows me the geometry of what happens, because if you go above, you just go up into the building. But if you're halfway between the two worlds, which building do you go up into?
Do you think? What I imagined it as is sort of a dimensional right-handed, left-handed mirror image, where it's like you have the same amount of building on either side, but only
when
you
go up. does it keep being the midway point? In which case, then you could go at any floor and cross between the worlds.
Well, but the portal is only down there. The rip in the fabric.
What's above the portal?
One dimension. If you go from the one side, the other dimension on the other side. So both.
What if you're halfway between?
Well, then half of your body is like, my guess is, okay, so picture you're standing halfway in between and you put your hands up like you're scoring a touchdown, right? I'm going to bet that with your left hand, you reach over to try to touch your right hand and you'll touch only air. And in your right hand, you reach over and you can't touch your hand because it's in the other world as well.
Maybe. I still need to see this diagram, though.
Okay.
All right, let's talk about Dirk Gently and the battle for Windemore. And you got to see Hobbs again. Sherlock showed back up.
Yeah, but yeah. I don't know. I've run out of steam. It's so silly, and we so called it. Part of the delight and surprise of Dirk Gently was all of the ways it managed to surprise us and give us something we didn't expect. And the fact that we're now 2 episodes in a row of exactly calling the plots for these, and it's like
we should be hired to write television shows.
Well, so we exactly called the plots, and that's fine if the characters were acting in ways that we loved them. But when we did see Hobbs, he was a zombie, and when we did, and now we're seeing everybody do opposite stuff, where finally, after, when Frodo was like, I'm on board with the whole holistic thing, he's like, psych, no, I'm not. We need a plan. It's like, nobody's acting the way they normally act. And then, even then, you could still blow me away with cinematography and design and choreography and all that stuff. None of which was really face melting in this, and so now I'm just sort of like, yes.
And part of the problem is Windemore is supposed to be a child's dream. Right. So it can't look too good. It has to have boxy, night heads and a moon that looks goofy and stuff.
I think we've spent too much time in Windemore, and it's sort of like seeing a magic show too many times, and it becomes familiar, and you start to see the cracks in the speckle paint on the magic box,
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because I kind of got tired of the knights. Finally, I'm like, yeah, okay, they have cardboard box heads, and give me something interesting. Even the bit with Mona didn't really.
I didn't care for that at all. Did not care for that one bit. I don't care for the implausibility of Bart's friend just taking over the bad guy castle. There's a lot of leaps I've been asked to take, and I think I'm out of leap juice.
I will tell you the one thing I liked was seeing Bart in Windemore.
She was great. And
she was great there.
I love the unapologetic, like, they've done enough to make me believe when she cranks up that chainsaw. I'm like, oh, they're all definitely dead. Every single one of them.
You don't even have to show me. Like, I already know. I know how this game goes. Yeah. And her sort of, I'm not angry with you, but I'm definitely not coming to Blackwing. You should join me in Windemore. Come on. It's so innocent and perfectly Bart. I kind of love that part too.
Yeah, Bart is secretly the best character on the show.
Dirk is right now.
Dirk, I'm kind of annoyed with. I'm kind of done with. He seems kind of totally superfluous.
I thought we were finally getting him back on track when he realized, oh, I get it now. I've solved the case. But he just sort of flapped around this episode. He wasn't really useful.
Well, and it would have been great for us to see a little bit of his Neo, oh, whoa, I am the one, and crushing it. But
yeah. But no, instead I actually kind of liked Amanda and Todd having to work together to get through the portal. That was a little contrived, but it was a nice brother-sister moment because we've needed them to kind of resolve their differences. So.
There was I forgot which, I think it was in the opening sequence. Somebody's holding a card with a phone number on it, and the number is 555-4242-4244, which was a nice little nod to Douglas Adams.
Cool. To Douglas Adams. All right, we only got one more episode next week. Nice jacket.
Yeah,
they're wrapping up Dirk Gently, so we'll let you know in after talk a little bit more about what we're thinking for after that. But anything else before we wrap up?
Nope. Those were shows. Oh, except for forgot to mention it on the main program. I did watch Lego Movie 2. Go see it. It was a lot of fun.
All right. Thanks everybody for supporting us. Patreon.com/Cordkillers. We'll talk to you soon.
Women Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.